name is Sadie Breezy in the place too busy, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to, this is my second video of the year. And today I will be speaking about having that HIV conversation with your children, whether it being you sharing your own HIV status with your children or you telling them of their HIV status, how to start the conversation, how to go about it. I will share my own story. I think by now we all know that I was born with HIV, and I found out at the age of 14 at a school trip. I was very young, and I remember just feeling like all that had happened was so unfair to me. I mean, finding out at a school trip, firstly, a school trip is the least ideal place to be having an HIV test as a 14-year-old. And I remember just feeling so resentful towards my parents. And they had already passed on by then, feeling so resentful towards everyone else who was around my immediate space, my family. I felt like I couldn't relate to anyone, and I felt like they couldn't relate to me as well. So I really felt alone for the most part of my teenage years, and I'm here to speak up on this thing because I'm aware that the conversation of HIV with children can get really hard, and I'm just here to share a few of the pointers that I had written. I have noted them on my phone, so I will be looking down on my phone a lot to read on the pointers that I had compiled for this video. So I will start about letting your children know that you are living with HIV. And the first thing that I will speak about is definitely that telling your children that you are living with HIV can be hard, and I acknowledge that. I'm not even going to downplay your feelings as a parent. I can just imagine having to start that conversation. It could be hard. It could be something that you don't even know how to start or where to even go about it, but it is a very necessary conversation to have. You need to think of what they will want to know based on their age and their maturity. Children differ from ages and also in terms of their maturity. So of course what you tell an 18-year-old is not the same thing you will tell a 5-year-old. Just start with the conversation as small as you can, and I mean, if you start a child at their young age, then you can limit what you tell them, and then the conversation can then grow with their age and with their maturity. Think of what they will want to know based on their, okay, I mentioned this. Talk with other parents who have told their children about their HIV status. If you know of other parents, if you know of other people in your age groups, or if you attend these support groups in clinics or in your community of other parents who are living with HIV, you would want to, you know, have that conversation with them, find out how they went about disclosing to their children, and just find out how you can go about disclosing to your children. If you are on ARVs, it may be a good idea to explain to your children how well the drugs work. It is important to also assure them and let them know that yes, mama is living with HIV or dad is living with HIV, but I am on these ARVs and I can live a full, healthy, long life while living with HIV. Because as children and just as society at large, we have made it a thing where we look at HIV and we associate it with death and with sickness and with illnesses. And it is important, if you are talking to a child, to keep on reminding them that yes, I am living with this thing, there is no cure for it, but I am on these pills and they are meant to make me feel better, and I am living okay, as you can see as your parent. So there's no need for you to worry, because you can see that I'm okay and I just need to be on these pills for me to be okay. If they ask questions, try not to lie to them. Now this is hard because as parents, honestly speaking about things like HIV, for parents I can imagine how hard it could be, right? Because I think just because of the nature of HIV as a virus, it kind of gets tricky having to have that conversation with your child because of the questions that they could ask you. But just try not to lie to them. Try not to say anything that could not be true. Be as honest as you can, of course depending on their age and on their level of understanding, but try to be as honest as you can, because they will grow, and if you are telling them things that are not true, they will find out over time. Use what they know or have learned about HIV as a chance to build on what they already know. So some children may have learned about HIV either from their friends, from the media, or from school. Use whatever. So ask them about their knowledge of HIV. Use what they have learned to start like as a form of where you can start in terms of educating them about HIV and where to go from there. Some of the information they have could be false, some could be true. If they are false, or if they are myths and misconceptions of people who are living with HIV, then that's where you come in as a parent to say, actually, that's not true, this is how you do things. So it is important for you to also kind of find out where they are mentally as people when it comes to HIV. So now we're talking about telling children about their HIV status. That's also quite difficult to have to speak about. I mean, the whole conversation about HIV with children can be hard, and I can only imagine how hard it could be for you as a parent to have to sit your child down and say, actually, you are living with HIV. Think about why you want them to know, then build from whatever reason you have. So it could be that maybe they've started growing suspicious because they are on, because they are on treatment, or maybe they could have learned something about HIV from school and they want to start the conversation innocently. Just think about why you want to start the conversation. If you just feel like it's time for you to start talking to them about it, whatever reason you have, there's no invalid reason, there is no wrong reason. Just build on whatever it is that you have as a reason for you to start this conversation and build up on it. Have some HIV related information before you begin. It is important that you equip yourself with some information, because there will be questions, there will be misconceptions, there will be myths, there will be questions, there will be opinions on people who are living with HIV. So it's important for you as someone who is coming as the adult in the situation to say, actually babes, this is how we do things, this is no, you could be wrong by saying this, but this is the correct way of saying things. So at least try to equip yourself with some information so that you can be able to meet your child at the level of where they are with regards to HIV. The next one is look for materials that have an optimistic tone. So it is important that even when you are talking about, it's important that even when you're talking about HIV, or if you are disclosing to them their HIV status, that you don't make it seem like it is this big monster that is meant to come here and kill them or make them feel like their life is over, because it is not. Try to look for other stories of hope if you can. Try to look for storylines on on TV if you can, of course, that are age appropriate, and just remind them and reassure them that you are living with HIV, but it doesn't need to change who you are. So have like an optimistic tone towards it, that yes, you are living with this thing, but your life is not over. The next one is consider your own feelings too. So in this instance, as the parent, you are obviously affected, and you would need to also take care of yourself and consider yourself, and also be able to be mentally ready to have that conversation with your child, because honestly, there's a conversation that could go either way. So just be ready to have this conversation with your child when you do have the conversation with your child. Children need different types and amounts of information depending on their age. So of course, try to give them as much as they can handle according to their age and their maturity. It is important that all children know they cannot transmit HIV to friends or family through casual contact, such as hugging, such as kissing, or such as using the same cup, using the same plate, using the same spoon, or using the same table or toilet. Just let them know that this virus is not meant to isolate you from human interaction. Yes, it is something that is infectious, but it's not passed through human contact. Through casual human contact. So there are a lot of things that you can still do. You can still hang out with your friends, you can still have fun with your friends, and it doesn't need to isolate you and make you feel like you now don't deserve to have any friends or any cousins or whoever it is that you like chilling with. The next one is let your children know that they can always speak freely with you. So create that open environment between you and your children where they can come back to you and ask you questions if they want to. Open that environment and that safe space where they can speak to you about these things, speak to you and ask you questions. Literally, if they find out something from their friends, it shouldn't be hard for them to start the conversation. They should be able to come back to you and say, oh, by the way, I was speaking to a friend of mine and she said 1, 2, 3, so what do you think about it? And just try to be as gentle and as safe, like make the situation safer for them to be able to keep on coming back to you and know that they can use you as their first point of reference with regards to having conversations about HIV. And also arrange a support network of people you trust for your children and for yourself. Even before disclosing to them, you need to be able to have either a friend, either a healthcare worker, either a social worker whom you can be able to keep on talking to if the conversation kind of makes you feel like you are stuck. And even if the child feels like they need to speak to someone else other than you, for whatever reason they could have those people who you know that, okay, even if the conversation could go southways, they still have Mama Ne Sadie who they can go speak to about their issues and their worries and just whatever it is that they want to talk to, even if it's not with you. Give them assurance too, and just hug them and make sure to remind them that you are living with HIV. It doesn't make you different. It doesn't need to change anything about your life. You are still a human being. You are still loved. You are still appreciated, and nothing has to change. You are still so young. You can still dream and do whatever it is that you want to do. You can still live out your wildest, biggest dream. Even while living with HIV, it is not meant to stop you from living, and just be able to be in a point where you also understand that as the adult you didn't fail as a parent, and understand that it was never your fault that your child was born with HIV, and that you didn't fail. You literally did not fail as a parent. You are a loving parent, and the fact that you could be living with HIV or the fact that you could have infected your child with HIV has nothing to do with the type of parent that you are. It happens. I'm so sorry that you are in this position, but I'm really hoping that videos like this one also tries to lighten the load of just being a parent who is raising children who are living with HIV, or just being a parent who is living with HIV. Yeah, this brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment down below if you have any comments on this issue, and please just share my videos. If you know of someone you think could use this video, please share it with them. Please share my videos online. Please let's just keep the conversation going. Thank you so much. I'm really hoping that this video did what I needed it to do, and I'm hoping that it was informative and a bit enlightening on this subject. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Bye, and please subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye.